I'm Dustin Louie. I'm Decath from the Nalai Wartan and Nitai First Nations. My people come from central BC, which is where I grew up as well. When I was going to school, the idea of even being a student at UBC seems so far off for so many of us in there, and being a professor now and being the director of NITEP is such a huge step for me, but also like a great connection for my community at the same time. Before this, I was a professor at University of Calgary, and then came and joined UBC 4 years ago, which I'm incredibly thrilled about. Being a member of NITEP now, being the director of NITEP is a huge part of my sort of academic journey that I'm excited to share. My research interests are sort of all over the place. You know, there's only like 1.4% of professors in Canada are Indigenous, and there's such a growing focus on this area, so we end up getting taken in a lot of different directions. My research originally out of my doctorate was on sexual exploitation prevention education for Indigenous girls. Since then, my work has gone more in the direction of practical applications of decolonizing, both within school spaces but also the social service areas. So in addition to developing models of what decolonization is, it's more about translating that into practice in those places. I do extensive work with probably half the school districts around the province around what this looks like within their own space. And recently I've sort of gone into the area as well of social service. So I've been doing work with folks like the Child Youth Advocacy Centers, the Federation of Social Services on how do they translate these into their practice in organizations that support, folks experiencing homelessness, folks, in so many different areas of society. How do we embody these teachings in those places? Other research that I've done recently is around ideas of Indigenous school attendance post-COVID. So we're doing a study with 3 different school districts connected to that. Also doing research within NITEP around the experiences of graduates and the way their degrees are viewed and sort of their experiences coming out of the program. Wrote a paper recently challenging the idea that Indigenous folks get everything for free, upsetting that narrative that's so prevalent within Canadian society and showing how the exact opposite is true through the Indian Act, that we've been denied access to so many different elements of the economy, and showing how schools maintain this narrative and things we can do to disrupt it. The one that I'm thinking the most about is enriching teaching and learning for a bunch of reasons, both because the NITEP program is a teaching program that we have our students in, so I'm thinking so much about what their experiences are like within the system. But also, since I work with teachers all over the province and really connected with, in-service training as well. But I think for me, as a professor here too, a lot of the courses that I teach are in the graduate space. And I think about the specific common goal within the teaching and learning strain of, how do we decolonize some of our curriculum? And I designed a course that we started last year, second iteration happened this year, around 4 theories of decolonizing. And the way that we envision that is, I think too many folks who do decolonizing research don't have enough of a breadth of understanding of the many things it can be. And they're sort of only aware of a few scholars, and they think this is the sum total of what decolonizing can be. What I want to do is introduce them to this huge, exciting diversity of what decolonizing can be and help them position themselves of given their own identities, given the type of work they're doing, which of these theories makes the most sense for them. And then also what I'm trying to do is have them be in solidarity with each other. In decolonizing this curriculum that I'm designing, I'm really wanting to support the graduate students who are doing such exciting work, but to ground their theories in the amazing rich diversity that exists out there and have us working together rather than working in conflict with each other. And I think, most of the educators that I know would love to do it, and they just need some of the guidance on how to take that up. And I think as one of the common goals, we can find avenues for sort of achieving that. One of the things I think about a lot with that is that in the last couple of years, we've added a Master's of Indigenous Education and a Doctorate of Indigenous Ed, the TESCEL program. Now that we have those programs, students can come to UBC and get a NITEP program, get their undergraduate in teacher ed, get their Master's of Indigenous Ed, and get their doctorate. So it's this really unique pathway that folks can take and have Indigenous-based education for every degree and complete their graduate studies. And I think that's really unique in the world in terms of this work. One of the reasons why I wanted to come to UBC in the first place is because we see ourselves as a world leader in this topic. I think the continued growth of that space is one of the things that's the most exciting to me. Continually recruiting and bringing in more scholars who can work in this space and add more complexity and diversity to the things that we teach to our students. I already think of the really brilliant scholars that we have here who can bring such unique perspectives and unique experiences and unique scholarship into this work. And the continued growth of that to me is just incredibly exciting.